Hi, it's Leon. I'm in my garden. It's getting to be that time of year when there's some things I need to do out here before it gets too cold and before we get our first frost. And the one that comes to mind right now is I got all this wonderful basil growing back here that I don't want to have go bad, and I need to process it before it starts to turn brown. So this is leading up to, I'm going to make some pesto, and you'll get to watch as I go through that. I've done it many times before, and I've taken still photos, and I don't know if that captures what it takes to do it, but it's a lot of fun, and it's really enjoyable to have the pesto around, and you'll see how that goes from here. So without any further ado, let's get down to some work. Okay, so I got a lot of basil here to process, and so let's get this washed up in the kitchen, and let's get out our food processor and our garlic and our Parmesan cheese and our hemp seed hearts and our olive oil and a little bit of salt. Let's go to town and make some wonderful pesto. Okay, so here we are in my humble but well-used and well-equipped kitchen, and so here's the basil from earlier. I've already washed, and I've used the salad spinner here to get the excess water out of it. You don't want you want to be able to control the moisture in your pesto pretty well, and water is one form of moisture, but we're going to usually use as much olive oil for the liquid that we need in order to get the right consistency. So use the salad spinner to get the excess water out. While you're cleaning the basil, that's a good time to just be looking it over and throw out any leaves that maybe are starting to blacken now that they've been picked. And also pick off any more woody stalks. I don't take a lot of care out there, but when I'm washing it, then I can clean up whatever needs to be cleaned up with the basil. So we've got our basil. I've got some chopped garlic. The other ingredient in pesto that's pretty common is some kind of nuts. Very commonly it's pine nuts or pignolias. I like to use shelled hemp seed hearts, and the reason for that is because as a vegetarian, this is one of the only sources of omega-3 that I can get. Most people get omega-3 from their fish. I don't eat fish. So this is a great source of protein. It's nutty in its form like this. It reminds me of raw sunflower seeds. They're actually quite tasty. I use them in a lot of things, but this is what I like to use in pesto instead of the pine nuts, but either thing will work. And pine nuts, traditionally, I like to use the shelled hemp seed hearts. Other ingredients, very important. If you're not lacto-ovo vegetarian, this is not the thing for you to be having, but this is a Parmesan Reggiano cheese, and this is a key ingredient. And basically this is a very dry cheese, so I mentioned the olive oil earlier. What you're really doing is you're taking the moisture with the leaves and the dryness of the cheese, and you're balancing it out with the olive oil. So of course I have my olive oil as well, and there's no real measurement to any of this. It's just a case of getting the right consistency. Is mostly by how it looks, and you can kind of tell how thick it is as you stir it. And then we've got our sea salt or kosher salt. I like to use that, and then fresh cracked pepper, another part of the seasoning. So that's really all the ingredients that are in it, and with that, let me get started. So the first thing that I want to do while I have my food processor here, and you can see I've got the big blade, and that's just going to be used for everything. The cheese I like to do first to get that out of the way, so I have the cheese already grated and ready to use. And then it's just a matter of just throwing everything else together in the right proportions. Go ahead and just make this into little chunks. And frankly, I'm not going to need very much cheese at all. This little amount of cheese like this is going to make a tremendous amount of shredded cheese. So basically that's what the cheese looks like, and it's all nice. And I mean, why would you ever buy anything in a jar when you can just do that? The next thing that we want to do is go ahead and just start loading this thing up with a healthy amount of basil. Next is I need to put some garlic in. Okay, a nice large, big amount of garlic on top of that. Okay, got that. Then some hemp seed hearts. Okay, so I've got my basil and my hemp seed hearts and my garlic in there, and now for some of that cheese that I grated up earlier. And for this, probably about the same amount as you used for the hemp seed heart. So it's like a big heaping tablespoon of garlic, 2 big heaping tablespoons of hemp seed hearts, and 2 big heaping tablespoons of cheese. And that's just to get this going, because we're going to adjust that as we go along. And now some olive oil, because especially with that cheese, this needs some moisture content in there. All right, let's put the top on, and let's get busy. Okay, so I want you to see how this looks, because it's really quite amazing how those leaves just begin to come together. Let's have a look inside. All right then, see how luscious and green and yummy looking that is? But it's really not proper pesto at this point. It's just a bunch of chopped up stuff because it just doesn't have quite the consistency. It needs a lot more liquid, so it needs a lot more olive oil. So let's go ahead and add some olive oil to that. Alrighty then. And let's work the sides down into the blade there a little bit so that we can finish this off here. Okay, let's put it back on. Got a little stopper in there so we don't make a mess. And let's do it some more. Okay, that's enough for now. Now let's go back inside. And let's work the sides down again. This is actually now starting to me to look just like it should. Get some out of there so you can see that. The consistency is still a little on the dry side, but it's really starting to look more like pesto should. Okay, let's work those sides down. Now's a good time to taste it, and because we haven't added any salt. And the cheese is already salty, but it's a good idea to taste it. Okay. Very, very basil-y. So it actually needs a lot more garlic, and I need to add the salt and pepper. Okay, a little pepper. And some salt. Two good pinches full there. Now I can add more later, so don't overdo it now. I think it needs a little more liquid too. Some nice extra virgin olive oil in there. Again, it's all to consistency, so I really can't tell you. You just have to work with it until it looks like proper pesto, which is, you know, it's a creamy paste without there being any cream in it. Okay, so I've got my salt and my pepper, and I need more garlic. You know, I like garlic. I'm gonna put another big heaping tablespoon in. Believe me, I hardly even tasted garlic at all. There was almost no signs of garlic in it whatsoever. Okay, so let's see how that goes. It's starting to look pretty good to me. Let's give it another taste. Oh wow, that looks just perfect to me. That is starting to resemble the pesto that I know and love. Okay, but how does it taste? There's the question. Oh, very good. You know what I could use though? A little more cheese. Cheese makes everything better. All right, so how about some cheese? Oh, perfect pesto. Now I've got a whole bunch more basil yet to go. Yum, yum, yum. This is my favorite thing to make. Mmm, yummy, look at that. Can't wait to taste it. Now, what do I do with it though? There's no way I can use all this pesto in just the week or so that it might go bad in the refrigerator. You might be able to keep it 2 weeks if you keep it well covered in a container like this with a good seal. But really, I'd like to have this all winter long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the majority of it in these handy dandy little silicone-based ice cube trays. So these are flexible, and I can just load that up and put it in the freezer. Wow, it's heavy. So there's what it looks like in my silicone ice cube tray. So basically I'm going to take and put that inside a Ziploc. Because you won't use all this, you just take it out 1 cube at a time. Okay, and in the freezer. Okay, so here are some that I've done before, and you know, you can just see that there are little cubes in there, and you really just take one out, and if you're making a caprese and you need fresh pesto, then you take it out maybe an hour ahead and it thaws pretty fast. Or if you're making a pesto sauce, you can put a couple cubes just in your saucepan with some more olive oil, add a little garlic, some herbs de Provence, and you've got a fantastic pesto and olive oil sauce for your pasta. Alright, well that's it for today's interesting episode in Leon's Kitchen, but I hope you really like what I showed you today, and I hope you really enjoy the pesto. Have fun.